In this game, it just really felt like you guys hung around a lot and then just made that big push in the fourth quarter. That's an attribute you guys even had last year. How proud does that make you as a coach that your team continues to pull out wins like this?
Well, I mean, any win you can get in this league, obviously, they're precious. But the first game, out the gate on the road, long flight yesterday, guys came into the gym and we had unreal juice and a steadiness about us. And I thought that was what happened with our team tonight. We just stayed the course. There was just a steadiness about us emotionally. Even when things weren't going our way, we get down by 8, we get down by 10, and we just didn't have any sort of emotional meltdowns at all. And, it paid off for us tonight defensively in the fourth quarter. What was huge for us. And it wasn't as much scheme as it was will and effort and multiple efforts. And then we took care of the board. That plagued us in the first half. I think they had 8 offensive rebounds. Not quite sure what they ended up with. 15. So but wasn't great in the second half, but we did enough to get a win. But I just thought our poise and steadiness with our mental stamina was present tonight. And then, Book just had a stretch where offensively he just carried us, and he was huge. And then the bench production tonight. So you're proud as a coach of a number of things, but for me, I thought we grew tonight in our emotional stamina, especially on the road against a good team.
To ask you further on the offensive rebound, DA was coming up on Dame, and it looked like he was doing his job there, but obviously the offensive rebounding behind him was an issue. What were you seeing that contributed to so many for Portland?
Well, you take one thing away and you give up something else. I mean, Ennis is best in the league on the offensive glass. And so in order to try to counter Dame's ability to shoot from the grocery store, you're giving up threes on the backside and offensive rebounding. And I thought that was what helped us in the second half, was the ability to try to take him out on the board, but also close out the shooters. Even though, you're trying your best to keep Dame from, having one of those crazy nights, even though he hit some unreal shots. But it's just hard because you don't want him coming off and getting free looks, but you're giving up something on the backside.
Next, we'll go to Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Gina Mizell.
Yeah, Coach, obviously near the end of the game, Booker banged his knee with Derrick Jones. Is he good?
Yeah, he seems okay.
Okay, and just to follow, when you go small with Dario, just that ability that he has to not only score inside, but then, the battle as well, just maybe speak to the game he had, because you sat Ayton for basically, 3/4 of the second half, and Sarge was such a big part of that.
Dario gives you versatility. There are times where you can play Dario and DA, but they were so small tonight. And that group had a good rhythm. Dario, along with Nader and Payne, those 3 guys off the bench tonight were huge for us. And then Jay, his ability to play with both groups. But Dario played in the post. He was passing the ball. I thought he was pretty good in his pick and roll coverages. There were times where he would show. There were times where he was in the blitz. He just gives you great effort and competitive drive every single night. And like I said in the pregame, it's contagious.
Next, we'll go to Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then Cameron Cox.
Hey, Monty, to go back to the defense for a second. I know in a perfect world, you'd want to see the consistency throughout the whole game, but just what allows you guys to really lock in and to click into what you want to do defensively just in the fourth quarter and kind of when it is crunch time and go time when it's getting down the stretch?
I think the ability to make adjustments on the fly has helped us lately. Wasn't something we were that good at earlier. We've been able to tweak the coverages a little bit, especially in the second half. And then I think there was, a bit of rust on both teams' part coming out of the break.
Sure.
It took us a minute to a couple of quarters to play with the juice that we typically are known for. I thought we were a step behind in the first half, whether it was a pick and roll coverage or giving up offensive rebounds or closing out to a hot shooter like Covington or Simons. That was something that plagued us in the first half. I thought in the second half, we just had much more will and urgency in coverages and getting to the paint to get a rebound.
Next is Cameron Cox with 12 News, followed by Dave King.
Hey, Coach, can you just take us through your mindset when you see Book go down like that again, just kind of after what he's been through this past week? And do you have to be maybe a little extra cautious with him now moving forward?
Well, I think the last thing anybody wants to do is get in my mind. So I'll relieve you guys from that. But when any one of our guys, takes a hit like that or goes down, you automatically, feel for them. And he's been so diligent with his rehab and, he sacrificed playing in the All-Star game so that he could, play in this game and play going forward. So, yeah, I'm going to have to be creative with our practice schedule, how many times we meet. Depending on how late we get in tonight, it'll dictate what we do tomorrow. I think every coach is inclined to have fresh legs over, a 2-hour practice. So I'll figure out ways to, do the best I can to keep all of our guys fresh and healthy.
Final two questions are Dave King with Bright Side of the Sun and Brendan Clean.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about the difference in the defensive assignments or expectations between when Ayton is on the court versus when Dario is? It just seems like the defense plays a little bit differently with each man on the court.
Yeah, Willie Green has been instrumental in directing that group and in that concept of adjusting our defensive coverages. It's a bit different when DA's in the game. We typically have more rim protection because DA's in the game. Dario, because he's not a rim protector, we have to change our coverages. So I think our team is adjusting to that dynamic, knowing that when DA's in the game, we're in one coverage. When Frank and Dario come in, we may have to adjust to another. Willie Green has been, he's worked on it with this group all year. He did it all last year. He's been instrumental in leading that side of the basketball.
Final question is Brendan Clean with Bright Side of the Sun.
Hey, Monty, I know coming into the break, we were talking about campaign and some of the things you wanted to see out of him, defensive consistency and, command of the offense. It feels like this was probably an example of the kind of night you want him to have every night.
Yeah, I talked to him over the break about balance. The last thing I want to do is take away from someone's gift. He has a gift to score the ball, but, he has to understand, and he does, that there's a balance when you're out there playing with Dario and Jay and Nader and Cam Johnson, Etuan, JC, making sure you get those guys involved. And then defensively, his ability to move his feet, fight bigger guys in the post. You said it. I thought that was at a high level tonight. His effort on defense and his ability to make plays on the other side is huge. He had a huge steal tonight against Simons in the backcourt and one-on-one defense. That's something you rarely see in the NBA, and I thought that was a bit of a momentum swing for us.
Hey, Book, congrats on the win. First of all, just how's the knee feeling and how frustrating is it after this past week to get hit like that again?
It's part of the game, Cam. That's what comes with it. So, obviously not what I expect or want to happen, but it's in the past and I got to deal with it and move forward. But this is definitely a lot lighter than the last one.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Kellen Olson.
I'm going to assume you sitting here means that it's good, at least that your knee is good though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Fine.
Just wanted to follow up with how did you make it look seemingly easy coming off of an injury? I just from watching, it just felt like you let the game come to you and you weren't trying to force it, but yet be aggressive. How were you able to balance all that when I'm sure inside it was like, I want to get out there and make it happen?
I mean, that's just his team. I mean, every night, you know, I know what's going on. I know we're sending out there on the court, you know, both units that play. And when the spacing right, the timing right, and everybody's locked in, you know, the ball is going to find the energy. And that's something that's been working all season, just trying to stay efficient, you know, at the same time, impose my will and my aggressiveness on the game. But having people around Campaign came in and had a spark for us very quick. CP, playing alongside those guys like that, they make it a lot easier for you.
Just really quick, I saw when Dario scored inside, you gave a little too small sign on the bench. What's it like seeing him in that small ball unit and do what he does?
Yeah, I'd have been on the other side of that. So I know what it feels like to try to stop him down there. It's tough, you know, but Dario's a wide body and, you know, he's not afraid of contact, you know, so he'll put his body on you and, you know, you're going to have to make a decision. So I love seeing that. You know, a lot of teams, you know, end up switching 1 through 5 and, you know, having somebody like Dario in there that can punish them inside, you know, makes it so they can't do that.
Next, we'll go to Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports.
Hey, Book, you weren't afraid to admit that the bench was helping you guys a lot early in the season, responsible for a lot of the wins. What's the confidence level for you guys as the starters with Cam and Dario, who it just feels inevitable that they're going to impact a game the way they did tonight?
Yeah, man, I've been saying it, you know, for a while now. We're deep. You know, we have a well-balanced team with a lot of players on here, a lot of hoopers. You can go down the list 1 through 15, 16, 17, however many it is. So it never surprised me. You know, we compete in practice. We mix up the lineups in practice. So I've played a lot of minutes with everybody. And we have a bunch of hoopers on this team that, you know how to play the game of basketball. So, you know, it can be anybody, any night.
Final 2 questions are Gina Mizell with Suns.com and Brendan Klein.
Hey, Book, in the fourth quarter when the defense really tightened up to help give you guys the lead back, just what did you see on that end of the floor specifically that allowed you guys to do that?
We just locked in. You know, I think we had some good energy going into the fourth quarter. And we were real animated in the huddle right before the fourth quarter and, you know, saying this is winning time and time to lock in. And that's what we did. You know, we just want to make it tough for them. You know, if they're missing or making shots, I mean, we'll see. But, you know, we just try to speed them up some, and that's what happened.
Final question is Brendan Klein with Bright Side of the Sun.
Hey, Book, another game above 50% from the field for you tonight. I don't know how much you pay attention to any of that during the season, but you're right around 50 for the year. Is there anything that you feel like has grown about your game that's allowed you to keep getting more efficient like that? Or is it just talent around you? What would you attribute that to? Because you're at another level yet again this year.
Chris Paul.
Okay, that's simple.
Yes, sir.
Cam, just wanted us to ask about just again, that bench effort, you and Jay and Dario, some of you guys coming in produce. You know, what was it like once again for you guys to be a factor tonight?
I mean, we come out there and did what we were supposed to do, give that spark, just try to change the game. Dario, Dooley had great minutes out there tonight, myself as well. I just felt like we found a way to impact the game. Amped up the defensive pressure a little bit, pushed the pace, and just gave our starters the type of play that they needed from us.
Just a quick follow, you know, for Devin to come out the way he didn't have the kind of game he had. I know, again, y'all say it all the time, but what was that like watching someone come off a knee situation and have that kind of game where his flow and rhythm seemed like he hadn't had an injury at all?
Honestly, man, I feel the same way you feel. It's crazy. You know, obviously he got some big time rest. He didn't go to the All-Star game, so he got some rest and healed it up. It looked like he got a little banged up at the end, but man, it's crazy, man. He comes out focused on the task at hand, trying to go 1-0 every day, and I mean, what he had, 33, 35, one of the two. He just came out playing well, did his job, did what he was supposed to do. And like you say, I mean, it's amazing to watch, even as a teammate, to see him get going. Because we know what he's capable of every night. He can give you something even crazier than what he did tonight. So he came out and did what he was supposed to do. He looked pretty healthy to me. Just hopefully he stay healthy and we can keep it going with him.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, and then Brendan Clean.
Hey, Cam, it seems like in games like this, you guys don't really get rattled and just find a way to battle back and eventually find an edge somewhere. What do you attribute that? It's obviously confidence. What do you attribute that confidence to for you guys to continue to do that?
Man, we just stayed poised through the whole game. We were down 10, down 8, kind of came back. Then they got onto another run. We just stayed poised. We didn't really let the adversity hit us. We just stayed our lane, stayed our course, and just kept doing the things we do as a group, our habits, and just kept getting stops on the defensive end. Like I always say, I feel like offense take care of itself when you playing good defense and getting the ball off the rim instead of getting it out the net.
Next is Brendan Clean with Bright Side of the Sun.
Hey, Cam, you were talking going into the All-Star break just about how good it felt to get a couple good ones under your belt there and get healthy and all that stuff working in the right direction. Was there anything you did during the break to try to keep that momentum? Because you obviously came out with this one and had another nice night for yourself.
Well, one thing for sure, I got some more rest. I know it was big time to get some rest after those not back-to-back games, but after those 2 games we had. But I like I said before, I stayed in Phoenix just to get some more work and man, just try to stay sharp. I feel like everyone on our bench did that. We all got the mindset we trying to win something bigger. So in order to do that, we have to stay ready. And we stayed in, and a lot of guys was there with us, just getting work, constantly making sure our shots are knocking down. So we just stay in the gym, and not just me. I was in the gym, and they were. Tonight was a big time game, but it was a team effort for me.
Chris, you talked about going into the break on what you wanted to see coming out of, and you mentioned defense at the head of that. What do you think of the effort in the fourth quarter defensively to be able to pull away from Portland tonight?
And the fourth quarter was great, and I think that's the sign of a team that's growing. Best teams in the league don't always play great all game long, but when it's winning time, you lock in and you lock down, and I think we're doing that. And first game out of the break, we'll take it.
Real quick, you've played with so many guys and played against so many guys, and the reason I'm leading it that way, because when you see Devin coming off of the knee, and I know he could have played a playoff and this and that, but to come back and play that way and be that efficient.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't think Book was playing tonight. I talked to Book all during the break and all this stuff like that. He different. Like for real, he different. Not only the fact that he played tonight, but that smooth 35 that he had. Me and Jay Crowder was just in there talking about it. He different. He's different.
Thanks, Chris.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, and then Nicholas Cole-Huber.
Hey, Chris, you mentioned winning time. You've had a ton of experience there over your career, but a lot of the guys on this team haven't, yet they remain poised, as Cam put it earlier. What do you attribute this team's success to in just being in these types of games and then finding a way to win when it matters?
And I think trust. I think our coaching staff, the culture of our team, we just got a great group of guys, man. I'm telling you. And to see how well Payne has been playing when he's out there, we just got one of them teams where everybody cheers for everybody. Everybody's happy for everybody. And it's nice. It's nice. We are gonna have some hard times, some adversity, and when that adversity hits, I think that's when it'll really test us. But the spirit is definitely right on this team.
Next is Nicholas Cole-Huber from France, followed by Gina Mizell.
Hi, you're now only 2 games behind Utah on the first seed. Is it something you're keeping in mind?
For our team, like you said, the seeding is what it is. Obviously, going into the season, you want to be at least a top 16. But for us, I think it's about playing the right way. You know, when you build and play the right way, seeding isn't that important. You know, we just want to keep building.
Final two questions are going to be Gina Mizell with Suns.com and Brendan Clean.
Hey, Chris, you just said the phrase, we just have a great group of guys. And we've heard you guys reiterate that, whether it's other players, whether it's Monty, just kind of all season long. For those of us who aren't able to be there at the facility every day, like we're sitting here on Zoom right now, you know what I mean? Like those of us that aren't able to watch every day, just like what would you want people to know about what's going on behind the scenes to create what now we are seeing on the floor?
I think for me, even coming here, being new to the organization, one of the things mine and Willie said to me all the time was, "See, we got a work team." That's what they would say. They say, "We got a work team. We got a great group of young guys who they just want to work." And so when you get here and you see that's really what it is, right? So, you know, you bring me and Jay and a few other guys into that fold. It's been a great mix and a fun season. You know, at the end of the day, too, you want to have fun. You know, I feel like we got the best job there is in the world. You want to have fun while you're doing it. And I think that's what we're doing.
Final one is Brendan Clean with Bright Side of the Sun.
Hey, Chris, kind of along the lines of that seeding question, just facing a team like Portland, who obviously is right there with you guys in the playoff kind of seeding range. Do you look at a game like this any differently, or is it too early to do that?
Way too early. Don't get it twisted. Y'all got to realize Portland out there without CJ McCollum and without Nurkic. You know what I mean? For us, it's about us. We got to play our game. Whoever's out there, we got to compete and win the game. But that's not their team. So
Sure.
Yeah.